Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together we are minting coins. Your trusted source for crypto news, interviews, and ICO reviews. Thanks for showing up. Hit that like button. It really encourages us and it helps other people to find this content. Also, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments box below so your voice is heard as part of the community. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin Cash, we're going to be talking about Lightning Network, and we're going to be talking about the layer 2 scaling for decentralized blockchain technologies, at least from the perspective of this new report coming out of Microsoft, which has looked into layer 2 scaling for blockchain technology, which is a big deal. This is a big puzzle. We know that we need to solve this, just as when we first started using the internet. If the internet didn't scale, then and more people were to use the internet as is what happened, then it could take weeks and weeks just to send a JPEG. Yet we live in a world where people can share live streaming video from across the world without any middleman whatsoever. And now with decentralized trust, decentralized blockchain technology, where we can exchange trust, value, messages without worrying about the corruption of that information in between, we need those systems, those tunnels, those channels to scale as well, so we can go from 7 or 10 or 20 transactions a second and scale up into the millions, if not hundreds of millions and billions of transactions per second at a fraction of the cost than anyone has even come to become aware of with traditional blockchain technology. People thought a half a penny was free. With layer 2 scaling, once they're full blown and implemented and all the kinks are worked out, it's going to be theoretically much cheaper than a penny, much cheaper than a fraction of a penny, and much higher scalability as well. So with all that being said, let's take a look at the market, pop around the news. Let's talk about trust in a decentralized environment, and let's discuss. So starting over here at livecoinwatch.com, taking a quick peek at the markets, we have all known and felt the rise of Bitcoin going back into the 9,000s, currently around $9,800, as the cryptocurrency market is having some life being breathed into it. The total market capitalization of all the markets, $467 billion. Bitcoin dominance hovering around 35.5%. And so we have the total market cap of Bitcoin at $165 billion. A couple movers in the market. We've seen Ripple jump up this past week about 50%. We've seen Litecoin jump up this week about 50%. And what's happening there is basically Ripple has some news out with Western Union testing their technology. As other people have stated, it's very similar to the horse testing the automobile, and it's not going to work out well in the long run. You know, with the centralized fiat, with the fiat-based cryptocurrency, with companies like Western Union using Ripple, this is just delaying the inevitable, which is, in our opinion, a transition to fully decentralized blockchain technology. And the more decentralized that technology is, the stronger that technology is going to be in the future moving forward. It doesn't matter if you're pro-Bitcoin or if you're pro-Bitcoin Cash, or if you're anti-Bitcoin or if you're anti-Bitcoin Cash, none of these cryptocurrencies are dying. Maybe Ripple could die, maybe Tether could die. Maybe Bitconnect could die. But as far as the real cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin Cash is a real cryptocurrency. None of these cryptocurrencies will ever die, but we can't expect the value of them to increase. And how we see the value for cryptocurrencies is based on partly the existing market cap of that cryptocurrency, but more so the value is based on the total hash rate that is being applied toward that cryptocurrency. And so we have the market cap, you have the hash rate, and then you have the amount of decentralization, the distribution of the centralization. And the more decentralized the technology is, then the more valuable we see that technology becoming. Also, Litecoin jumping up because of Litecoin Cash. And if you haven't looked into Litecoin Cash, this new Litecoin Cash hard fork, people are going to be receiving 10 Litecoin Cashes for each one Litecoin that they hold. So there's a lot of people purchasing on a Litecoin right now to take advantage of this new Litecoin Cash hard fork. And with that, one of the other changes that this Litecoin Cash is going to be adjusting to is that they're going to be utilizing the SHA-256 mining hashing algorithm. And so it's really interesting, you know, when we say that the more decentralized the technology is, the more valuable it's going to be, the higher the hash power for a cryptocurrency, the more valuable that cryptocurrency is going to be. And what Litecoin Cash is going to be doing, which has nothing to do with Litecoin, Litecoin Cash is going to be using the same mining algorithm as Bitcoin. And so it is going to be pulling potentially some of that hashing power away from Bitcoin Cash, and putting it to this new fork, which is Litecoin Cash. Very, very quickly changing, ever-changing market. The general advice that we keep on hearing from all sorts of people is to buy and hold, to never sell, because even if you sell something at its lowest point, at its highest point, it can just come back, and we just don't know where the world is going to be in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So just purchase some Bitcoin, purchase some Litecoin, purchase, you know, some Dash, some Monero, some Zencash, some of the projects that you think are interesting for you, and then just forget about it. Look back 10 years later, and then when you find out there's 10 forks for Litecoin and 15 forks for Bitcoin, then you can go collect all of those crypto dividends in the future, where all of the day traders are just going to lose all that as they take advantage of it and then just flush it back out into the market. We can see lots of green in our Coin 360 overview. And markets pretty much across the board up. ETH futures down, ETC down for the most of the time, popping its head up a little bit here and there. We're still expecting to see ETC show its face on Coinbase sometime this year. So real quick before we dive into the news, let's take a peek into the Lightning Network mainnet. We currently have about 704, 706 nodes on the mainnet for Lightning Network. Currently over 1,700 different Lightning Network payment channels. Can't really tell how much the fees are, just because the fees are so low. But the total capacity of this current mainnet Lightning Network second layer payment channel system is currently about $56,000 in Bitcoin, which is over 500 million Satoshis. There's an extra link if you want to get more information about the number of nodes, number of channels, total Bitcoin BTC capacity, about 6 Bitcoin inside the system. You see all the graphs of the information going up and down, just to get a full understanding of the status and development of the Lightning Network payment channel. And so this Lightning Network is the second layer scaling for Bitcoin. This is the system that Bitcoin BTC is using, is proposing, is developing, is in the works for Bitcoin to be fast, for Bitcoin to be affordable, for Bitcoin to be more anonymous, and for Bitcoin to be overall more powerful and ready for wide range global usage for millions and millions of people every day. So turning to the first piece of news, there's this article at bitcoinist.com, maybe you've heard about this all across the interweb, is that Microsoft says that the Unchained Scaling degrades decentralization. And so this one gentleman, Alex Simmons at Microsoft's identity division, says that layer 2 scaling solutions, which principally involve the Lightning Network, are superior to the on-chain scaling. So on-chain is simply when you increase the block size on the blockchain. So all you do is increase it from 1 megabyte to 8 megabyte. You make the tunnel bigger, but that really doesn't solve the scaling problem. It just pushes the line down the road. It moves the goalpost down the road and just delays the problem from becoming something that the developers have to deal with today. Because once the 8 megabyte limit is full, what are you going to do? Go to 16? And then once it's at 16, what are you going to do? Go to 32 or to 100? There's just no end in sight. And the larger you make the block size, then the fewer nodes that are going to exist to run that blockchain, to validate that blockchain. And the fewer nodes that exist, the more centralized that technology is going to be. That's the principal reason why we've been not huge proponents of Bitcoin Cash, because it, in our eyes, promotes centralization and excludes more people from participating in these networks. So Microsoft is saying that the on-chain scaling is inferior to the layer 2 Lightning network that Bitcoin is implementing. Computer Giant's description of the on-chain scaling options, and particularly opposes the Bitcoin hard forks approach to offering bigger block size. Very, very interesting to see this information come out, for people to start to have conversations about this, because there's more information, there's more research that's going into validating both sides of the road. There's a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of confusion, a lot of doubt, and it's not helping the community, it's not helping the industry. It's our opinion that Bitcoin is still going to supersede in the long run. It just, all of this uncertainty, fear and doubt, confusion is just delaying how quickly Bitcoin is able to get there. So with the Lightning Network already on the mainnet, already well into its development, already being tested, already with over 1,700 nodes on the mainnet, more than the Bitcoin Cash network, people are really excited that this layer 2 technology is going to help make Bitcoin directly become extremely cheaper at a fraction of the cost that it's ever been, and allow it to be almost instantaneous, faster than it's ever been, and also keeping it as secure and as decentralized as it's ever been as well. So speaking of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and trust, we have Shapeshift in the news. They recently announced a partnership with Bitcoin.com and talks about something called Bitcoin Core. And so Bitcoin Core coin doesn't exist. There's no such thing called Bitcoin Core, but that's what Shapeshift makes reference to in their post with this partnership with Bitcoin.com. And so Bitcoin.com, this is very confusing, we talk about this all the time, but Bitcoin.com is owned by the Bitcoin Cash team. The Twitter handle @Bitcoin is owned by the Bitcoin Cash team. The Reddit subreddit RBTC, which is the Bitcoin ticker symbol, is owned and operated by the Bitcoin Cash team. And so whenever you see Bitcoin.com, that essentially means Bitcoin Cash. And so Shapeshift has this partnership with Bitcoin.com, and as a part of that partnership, they're referring to Bitcoin BTC as Bitcoin Core coin. So they're facilitating to the confusion and the uncertainty and the doubt. And over the long term, or even the short term, this doesn't look good for them, especially as more and more people recognize that there's this level of confusion, at best case scenario, or manipulation, or which isn't even the worst case scenario, coming from Coinbase and the Coinbase business team. So if we go to take a peek at this tweet, they have since deleted that tweet. Take a peek at this other tweet from Erik Voorhees. He says the recent announcement of Shapeshift integration into Bitcoin.com wallet had a mistake. It is not Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. It is Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. I apologize for this communications mistake happened. We've corrected it everywhere. And so I guess the community has already made their voice heard, and Erik Voorhees has already heard this, and a lot of the damage has already been done. But nevertheless, this is just an important recognition that people are not standing for this fear, this uncertainty, the confusion, this doubt. And in this case, this was heard by Shapeshift. And so Shapeshift realizes that the overall community is stronger than any one centralized source, in this case, Bitcoin.com. And if we all speak together, if we all have our voice heard, if we all comment and share information, then we can have a direct effect on the democracy of information, the democracy of blockchain, and that includes the direction that our children and our children's children are going to be having to live with the rules of this new industrial order hundreds of years into the future. Also real quick, we mentioned Tether earlier in the show in the market recap. There was a recent ratings alert, fresh alert on Tether from the Wise cryptocurrency ratings rating that Wise now has. And they have this huge issue with Tether, which, they're a little late to the game, but it's good that they're finally giving people this information, that there's never been an audit, and the folks behind Tether have been quite shady when asked about this audit. They have continuously claimed that their tokens are backed 100% by actual dollars, yet they've failed to present any evidence to support this claim. And so just recognize that if at some point there's going to be a shoe that drops and the rubber is going to hit the road, so to speak, and people are going to have to find out either the hard way or observing other people that are finding out the hard way if Tether really has the backings or if they don't have the backings. And so right now, they may be operating on this fractional reserve currency system, and that can be all well and good for now when people really aren't asking any questions. They're too busy utilizing the service, the exact same system that Bitconnect was in all last year and before. At some point, there's going to be a huge issue coming down with Tether, and it's probably not a hot potato you're going to want to get stuck with if and when that comes to fruition. So to wrap up the show, there's a press release that came out from Upwork. And so Upwork is the #1 website in the world. It's a centralized website where people can go to find work around the world, where if you need someone to help you with web design or programming or copywriting or whatever it is that you need, you can find people to help you at Upwork. In the decentralized world of blockchain technology, there's now ETHLance and ETHLance. And ETHLance is a decentralized website service that has no middleman, where it's essentially the same thing as Upwork. You can find people to help you with your development or typically projects in the blockchain space. But before ETHLance was Upwork, and Upwork, I'm pretty sure, got formed through the mergers of a lot of these sites like Upwork. They used to be called like Odesk and Elance. And so that's what Upwork is. And Upwork has this new press release where they released the Q4 2017 Skills Index, ranking the 20 fastest growing skills for freelancers. And it's really interesting as I was getting involved with the internet and all sorts of web design, web development, SEO, marketing, social media, strategy, really cool stuff like that. I just remember, at some point, Facebook was a skill, right? And people are saying, hey, we need you to know Facebook and understand Facebook. And, people just thought that having a Facebook account made them an expert at social media marketing, when it's actually, there's a lot more strategy and a lot more business and marketing involved beneath the surface. And what we see now coming out of Upwork, when we look at the top 20 skills, #1, you guys have already seen this right here, is Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin developers, anyone that understands Bitcoin and blockchain technology, this is a rapidly growing skill across the world. So more and more businesses are trying to find resources inside their organizations who understand Bitcoin and blockchain technology, because there's so few people who do. And even if you don't have a very high position in your company, if you understand Bitcoin and blockchain technology, then you can be the go-to resource. You could be someone that helps provide good information about accepting Bitcoin payments or securing Bitcoin or storing Bitcoin to some basic level. If you're watching this video, you're probably learning about all this. And so it's the reason that you understand Bitcoin and blockchain technology more than the 99.9% of the rest of the world, which isn't even paying attention yet. So we talk about Bitcoin. We talk about Bitcoin's currently around $9,000. So that means 1 millibit is about $9. And some people don't even have $9 to afford to lose. Some people don't have access to Coinbase. They can't purchase Bitcoin if they had $9. And the situation is that as it becomes more and more difficult to afford Bitcoin, as it becomes more and more difficult to find places to buy Bitcoin, it's going to force people into the point of which they should be at from the very beginning. And that's offering their products, offering their services in exchange for Bitcoin directly. If you're a hairstylist, tell people that you accept Bitcoin and Litecoin. If you're a mechanic, tell people you accept Bitcoin and Litecoin. If you're a marketer, tell people that you accept Bitcoin and Litecoin. Whatever the case may be, by understanding this technology, by learning about this technology, by having the skill sets around your passions, and adding the skill sets of understanding, around Bitcoin and blockchain technology, Bitcoin development, Bitcoin security, how to set up a Bitcoin hardware wallet like a Trezor. Each of those are skill sets that can be applied around a blockchain industry and can give you a competitive edge in this new industrial order moving forward. So thanks for being with me. Thanks for showing up and learning about this information with me. This is always fun for me to just go through the news and to share my time with everyone out there to share the news with you. It's just such a passion of mine, such an interest of mine. I'm consuming so much information, and I really wanted to just tell more people about this Bitcoin technology and all these different changes that are happening in the world. It was really important for me to somehow have a creative outlet, somehow get that information out there, somehow connect with people. And this channel has given me the opportunity to do that. Having this channel has given me the infrastructure to do what it is that I normally do, and just to share it with hundreds and thousands and potentially even more people locally and around the world. This just takes a lot of time, this takes a lot of energy, this takes a lot of money. Just to be perfectly honest, I'm still carrying a full-time job. That's why I'm not able to make videos every day. There's still a lot going on in my life. There's still a lot that is missing in order for us to have a solid foundation, a solid infrastructure to be doing this full-time. We would love to be doing this full-time. We'd love to be in Acapulco right now. We'd love to be kicking up and amplifying the visibility and the amount of information that we're putting out there in the world. And so what it is that we're doing is everything that we can do, everything that we can afford to do with our free time and whatever extra dollars that we have. And that's why we just appreciate you being here. We appreciate you liking this video. We appreciate you commenting. We appreciate it, any donations that we receive, even though we barely receive any donations. We don't make any money, or at least any profit, on this channel. And that's why we have sponsored videos. That's why we do video reviews to share new and interesting projects with you, and to bring a little bit of income in for this channel to help us do what it is that we do. It's not easy. There's not a lot of appreciation in the world for YouTubers, and everyone wants you to do everything for free. No one wants to help or contribute. And so with that, I just feel really grateful that I'm able to be here to be providing this service, to be sharing this information. And I feel really grateful that you're here to share your time with us. So with that being said, I'd love to know what you think about everything. What do you think about Microsoft's and this analysis of the whole layer 2 scaling? What do you think about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin Cash style of scaling with the on-chain scaling, simply kicking moving that goalpost down the road by making a block size bigger, versus the Lightning Network, which is really promising all of these wonderful things of being cheaper, faster, more private. So, share those thoughts below. And until next time, I'm glad that together we are minting coins.